And for those of you who are already with us here, we've got severe thunderstorm warning out in Williamson County. It comes to the very intersection of the county line with Eagleville there. And just making sure, there we go. We're on all the places that we should be. So that's what you're seeing in the orange box that's flashing. That is a severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, still back there with that Centerville storm for another 10 minutes. So this is all part of a larger complex that is moving in this direction. But one thing that should be noted, and it looks like there is a bit of an extension of that tornado warning as well. So that's Centerville. Here's Franklin. That's what's going to get here first. And you mentioned this, Justin, a second ago, that this particular storm has a considerable tag, and talking about hail 2.5 inches in diameter.
Yeah, they're talking about this storm as if it's got pretty sizable hail in it, and they're pretty concerned about the severe weather potential coming into the Nashville metro area, Williamson, Davidson, Rutherford counties with this supercell thunderstorm.
I'll also see that it's got 75 or 70 mile per hour winds, so both the hail and the winds make it considerable in terms of the classification from the National Weather Service. And as we kind of take a look here, let me turn on my inspector tool. And so those areas where you're seeing the reds and the, let's call them pinks, or kind of a dirty red. I don't really know what to call it, but whatever. So pretty large area of hail with that particular storm. And then
For some reason, Brian, on my end, I can't see anything that you're talking about. It's all just a green screen.
Yeah, I'm going to change it over here. I was waiting until things got going, and I meant to do that, and I had just forgotten. So let me do that and hope it doesn't break anything. And do this. So should be good to go there now. And I don't think anything broke, so yay. I've got computer, laptop. We're listening to the ham radio operators, so we're getting information there, and got a lot to kind of a lot going on here. But now that you can see this, Justin, this looks like where this hail core is right here.
Yeah, that's going to be some destructive hail coming out of that storm north of Pram Springs.
Keeping an eye on National Weather Service information here. They just sent out a message. Big hail headed straight for Franklin. Let's hope it loses some steam, but not likely. And that's from the meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service there.
And we were talking a little bit earlier that the peak and gradients still aren't even here yet. About 5, 6 o'clock when that low-level jet's really supposed to crank up, and these storms should really, really take off.
So let's kind of give a broad perspective. We hopped on. We told everybody, kind of what is going on here, why we're on. There's no imminent threat at this exact moment. So this is the storm that's to the west. It's moving to the east. And right here is Rutherford County, where you see I'm going to give you a rough outline, but here's Rutherford County. So no warnings for us just yet. But we are watching that storm just to the west. There's a storm down in Tullahoma. It has been severe warned. It has been tornado warned. There's a storm that is just north of Lexington. And then what is going through western Tennessee, this is the big line, right, Justin? So this would mark the end of the severe weather threat later on. This line could have damaging winds, some hail, possibly. Hail was not supposed to be a big deal for us today, but if we've got 2.5-inch hail in that storm there, it definitely is. And what they what is called QLCS tornadoes, which would be tornadoes embedded in that line. But what we have developing in front of that, there's one here, the one we're looking at to our west, the one down here east of Tullahoma, more down here in Mississippi. Those are supercells that have popped up ahead of the line. So, kind of explain the difference in those for us. So, supercell thunderstorms, they're in an environment where they're eating all the storm food. Are you able to hear me now or no? Okay. Let me make sure that I have all my settings correct here. Yep. Not sure why Justin, I can see him and I can hear him, but he can't hear me apparently. So we'll get that fixed up. Hopefully. So right now, no imminent right here on our door situation. So just know that. Okay. Does that mean you can hear me now, Justin? Okay. Every indication here is that you should be able to hear me. Hmm. All right. We do have another tornado warning right back here toward Clarksburg. This is up 840. I'm sorry, up I-40. We have got kind of a lot popping out here all of a sudden. Watching northern Mississippi and northern Alabama as well. Another little storm has popped up down here near Waynesboro. It's kind of a small terminal radar there, but it gives you a really good look at that storm. And one thing to know about these storms, they all have this kind of, let's call them kidney bean look, or I've heard it described as kind of a shrimp look. Get back on the correct radar here for us. But the storm that is closest to Rutherford County, the severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible for Franklin, most of Williamson County, parts of Murray County. See if we have any additional updates here. Definitely saw in Hickman and Dixon 2-inch hail. So this is confirmed. So it's lime size or an hen egg size hail. So they have updated the information here. And when you have a severe thunderstorm warning with a destructive tag, that is going to set off your emergency alerts on your phone. They are going to let the tornado warning expire. Okay. Just want to do a little quick check-in. We've got all of our socials pulled up here, and I think should be able to see some of the comments here. They're in so many different places, sometimes it's hard to get to all of them, but okay, we are getting an update on that. The hail size now being warned for baseball size hail. Baseball size hail And so that's why the further upgrading here. Still 70-mile-per-hour winds, too. Let's take a look at some of the winds here, do a little inspection. Yeah, there we go, down towards Santa Fe. This is where we had some of that rotation there. Okay, so there are the winds. Okay, Santa Fe to New Hope. Spring Hill would be next. Beeline toward Eagleville soon. We'll do a track on it here in just a second. Now let's take a look at where the hail is. The hail is further to the north of this storm, and that would maybe mean, anywhere from north of Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, if the storm continues to the east and continues dropping this very large hail. Let's see. Here's another product, and boy, this definitely shows where we have very, very large hail. So the areas between Bon Aqua Junction and Santa Fe, Spring Hill, Franklin, they're up next. This storm up next, Rutherford County. That's why we're on here kind of giving you a big heads up. Let me check the movement of this. Once again, east at 40. And here are the details that you can maybe make out here. Tornado possible tag, 2.75-inch hail. That's baseball size. 70-mile-per-hour winds. Destructive damage threat. That is in Williamson County now. So we're here highlighting this storm. That's what's flashing right there. That's the severe thunderstorm. Let me go over to our additional radar product here. And track this for us. And go from the kind of the leading edge. So several different things that could be coming into Rutherford County. High winds, large hail, tornado possible tag. It's not tornado warned right now. Moving at 40 miles an hour. So here are some times of arrival for us. Let's see. Triune in about 18 minutes. College Grove, same time. Moving it on in through Nolensville. So that's just in Williamson County. Eagleville, about 22 minutes. Amaville, 24. 22, Patterson. Rocky Fork in about 25 minutes. Windrow, 27. Brooklyn, 29. Little Hope, 29. Versailles, half an hour. Same for Rockvale, Laverne, Smyrna, Blackman, Wade, Overall, Link, a little over a half an hour. Jefferson Springs in about 40 minutes. 37 minutes, Leanna. Murfreesboro, 38 minutes. Walter Hill, 42 minutes. Then moving on. Definitely getting some
Hey,
photos
Bryan,
of
I'm
this
back.
very large hail. All right. And you can hear, and you never know which end is it on. Is it my end, your end? computer, laptop, whatever is going on there. But so this has even ramped up even more with the hail here, Justin. We're talking baseball size hail. That's not something you see around here very often.
No, it absolutely is, and that's some major hail.
Storm is moving east. We just did a track on that, and we're looking from anywhere 15, 20 minutes entering the county and moving on through. And one thing I would like to point out, let me go to this particular radar because I just like the way it displays things a lot better. We're talking about hail in this region where you see the purples and the blacks. You're talking about winds down here where we have this tornado possible tag. And then all of this making its way into some portion of Rutherford County. So we're going to get several different parts of this storm. Some are going to get wind and hail. Some are going to get hail, heavy rain. And we're still, I mean, it's got a tornado possible tag, so it could ramp up at any moment. So we have to watch that. So all kinds of different threats going to be moving into the county pretty soon.
Right.
Anything in your time of looking at it, inspection, have you seen anything that kind of pops out here for you that should be mentioned?
Previously, we were tracking what was two supercells. It's kind of a mini supercell out ahead of this big one that had produced at least a brief tornado down near the Hohenwald area. And it appears as though that little supercell has been ingested into this now parent supercell. When they first went up, there was a cluster of storms around this one supercell, and you could see on satellite that one in the middle just blowing up and taking off and trying to assert itself as dominant. And over time, it's just continued to absorb and ingest these other storms in its vicinity and clear out its environment so that setting the stage for it to potentially take optimum use of the environment that it's in.
Need to also keep in mind it's moving into an environment that really, after the small showers this morning, we've had plenty of time to recover, get all the storm food that we need in here.
That's right. I mean, some of the abundant sunshine came out this afternoon, and it's humid, it's hot. Wind shear is sufficient already, and it's going to continue to get stronger as we go into the evening. And these are those prefrontal individual discrete supercells we were talking. If anybody watched our update last night, we were talking about how we would have that morning ground come in, and then a clear slot. The sky would dry out. It'd be drier in the mid levels of the atmosphere, which could set the stage for storms like these to develop ahead of this line of storms. And that's exactly what has unfolded today. And this line of storms should continue to congeal and to consolidate and potentially have some bow echoes develop along it, creating the threat for a more widespread damaging wind event as it gets more into Middle Tennessee later on. So the tornado threats are primarily going to be with these discrete individual supercells like what we see crossing the Tennessee River here southwest of Nashville, northwest of Chattanooga, potentially developing down towards Lawrenceburg and Pulaski, and down in North Alabama, up around Clarksville. And those would be the tornadic threat storms. You could have brief spin up tornadoes with the QLCS tornadoes in the line, but when they talk about violent, damaging, long track tornadoes, these are the storms that would carry that potential.
So it did a lot of circling there. You're even seeing storms popping up north of downtown Nashville, Gallatin, and while these don't look like much now, that's kind of what we're talking about. Here's one in Dixon. It looked like a little bit of nothing just a few seconds ago, and this storm here, Justin, that we've got our keen eye on because it's getting close to Rutherford County. What is kind of concerning me is we're getting several areas that look like they might have some rotation, and this one back here especially. But I guess they all have plenty of storm juice coming in. So, I mean, these could all be areas of rotation we need to be very watchful of here.
But you put on the velocity mode, you'll be able to see pretty clearly where the dominant area of rotation is.
coming into
All right there, just west of Thompson Station.
yeah. So that's one area, but even we're starting to see maybe some developing on the back end of that too. But this is the dominant one, and a lot of times,
Well, you get a storm this size in this environment that is rotating this much air mass. It's possible to get multiple areas of rotation.
I mean, this is a huge, huge storm. I can take us back here where I have another tool. And so if we go from Santa Fe to Brentwood, that's one storm that's over 25 miles distance. So I mean, it's a big boy, as we could call it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to march almost due east. Is it moving just north of due east? Right down that 840 quarter. Those of us that watched the stream back in April, we intercepted and chased multiple storms along that corridor.
One thing to notice here too, and you're you know a lot more about this than I do, but look at the scans and how what's down in Columbia and Santa Fe, it's being like pulled into the storm. This is like growing.
That inflow, it's just sucking in anything else that's in its neighborhood and trying to develop. It's just sucking it in, and it looks like it really is trying to clear out that southern side where I would anticipate a large mesocyclone developing just northwest of Spring Hill. That's a pretty sharp, prominent hook developing right there. That's right, large inflow region developing there. If you go back to velocities, you'll probably see strong inflow winds right there. And there's nothing else to the south impeding it, nothing else to disrupt it, disturb it. It looks like that one's going to be getting ready to go here pretty soon.
So this is Spring Hill, large hail to the north of this storm. And a lot of times that is also indicative of storms that are growing in intensity, and large supercells can have a huge hail core and also have a tornado on the southern flank of it. So there's no tornado warning here yet, but we are seeing signs of the storm trying to wrap up a little bit. Here's Spring Hill, and here's Eagleville. So very what was it? It was May 8th, 2024. Last May, was when the Columbia area got hit and the storm moved off, caused some damage in Eagleville, ended up touching down in Christiana with an EF 0. They did a weather balloon launch at the National Weather Service, and quite the amount of instability, shear fairly strong as well. So all that means is what we have been thinking, that confirms that there's tornado fuel, there's storm fuel. So I saw a few people in the comments mentioning the volume seemed low. I checked it. It's pretty high on my end. If I give you any louder audio, I'm afraid it's gonna not be good for you. Not pleasant to the ears, not that we are anyway, but at least not cracking up on us. Just checking the few places for the comments. And if you've got any, throw it, and we'll try to get to it and see what we can see, okay? Okay, tornado warning coming out for northern Lawrence and Murray County. That's a storm further to the south.
We were just talking about that one just a little bit ago when we were circling supercells.
So
now it's going to take a path more towards central Rutherford County, northern Marshall County.
They do say it's out of an abundance of caution based on what happened earlier, just the environment in this area producing quick, weak, spinny things. And part of that was there was a storm that was probably not as big as this one that's in Summertown and Mount Pleasant, Justin, that earlier around Hohenwald was not even severe thunderstorm warning, not even a special weather statement, and brought some damage.
Well, and same thing with another storm earlier this afternoon, about 1, 2 o'clock ish, that came through Nashville County and produced what appeared to be a tornado, and it was never even had a special weather statement on it.
Yeah, that was the storm I was talking about. I got Hohenwald and Marshall um, mixed up, but they did have some damage there. So that storm in Dixon popping up, Nashville, Gallatin. So if you know someone that lives in other areas, you probably want to let them know, hey, we've got storms popping up. Um, Sometimes these things verify. Sometimes it's not as high of a severe threat. The conditions coming together, but I would say, Justin, this particular storm system has been pretty well forecasted and kind of coming together like was thought that it would.
Yes, yes, it has.
The Williamson County storm has turned due east, sparing Nashville but making
It's
its way to Murfreesboro.
making a right hand turn is always concerning.
Right hand turn, that often means maybe strengthening.
That would mean potentially strengthening and or rotating, or at least in the mid levels.
So you can see that it's moving north, and then you can see in the last couple of scans, it is kind of making an eastward jog. So this is your early heads up. Um, this is going to stay in effect until 5. So that's another 29 minutes. I would say probably within the next 15 minutes, we may see something extended into our area, if not before. It's hard to kind
Yeah,
of
I
judge that.
expect so.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, it's 4:30. I'm going to go and be in the car next time you see me.
Sounds good. Meteorologist Justin Bailey with us. When we get a warning here, we will have with us from Weatherology, storm specialist Ray Miller, or one of the additional meteorologists that work with Weatherology. We'll also go on radio, 1019, 100.5, WGNSradio.com, streaming there as well. In fact, we'll probably give it a little bit there. So this is the bad boy that's in Franklin and Spring Hill that will be making its way into our area. So give me a moment, and we're going to take a look at some of our cameras. Let's see if this increases our volume a little bit. Maybe not. What about this? Does this? No, no, it doesn't. Okay. Just make sure I get our mic real close. So here is a look into that storm. So we can see the clouds moving very fast. This is in Triune, right there along Triune Amilville area. Let me give you a different look. Let's look at. Let me pick a good. Pick a camera. Like, I'm looking for our 840 camera, but not that one. There's a good look. It's 24 at 840. Tornado warning now, Stewart County. So that is not in our area. Golf ball and tennis ball size hail in Bon Aqua. Okay. Just making sure I keep up with all of the information. Trying to find. It's the Veterans Parkway. No, definitely not that one. One of these days, I'm going to get through all of our cameras here and be able to give you some better looks. I mean, these work well for the fact that they're traffic cameras, but we want to see sky, right? Um, this is our Siegel cam looking off to the northwest. Okay. This is downtown Murfreesboro looking off to the east. Not really showing us a whole lot, although it does show that it's raining. Maybe not. Or I think that camera's frozen. All right, let's go back to radar. Looks like we've got Rutherford County here with us on our ham radio operators. They do a great job. So looking at hail, just east of Boston, north of Thompson Station, going to stay south of Franklin. But on this trajectory, it's going to bring it in near Blackman, just north of 840. So Rutherford County has activated here. So let's see. Let's look at the velocity. And yeah, we're still seeing some areas of high winds. 70. I mean, this is looking way up into the air. So, I mean, the 70 mile per hour winds from the National Weather Service could certainly be producing. And once again, we're getting updated to baseball size hail in this storm. So the storm, we're seeing, hail go from, baseball size, maybe back down to lime size hail, maybe even inch and 3/4 hail, but then it's popping back up to 2.5-inch hail. So that gives you a sign of rising motion within the storms. And once the hailstones are large enough, the clouds can't hold them anymore and they fall. So it's not a constant dropping of hailstones, maybe the smaller ones, but as that motion, it catches those smaller ones and brings it back up and adds more rain, and then it comes back down and it just cools it. And if you've seen a hailstone, it's really jagged, and that's where some of them kind of come together, but it's this big rising motion in those storms, and then eventually it becomes so heavy that it falls to the ground. So part of this warning has been shaved off for Murray County. So Franklin, Williamson County is the only one in the warning here. And we are definitely watching this storm down here. Bring it up where we can kind of take a look. Look at the velocities. And what you look for are different colors close together. So we can see, well, it just updated. We can see where we have the blues and the greens here kind of close together. Some of the storms have had small, spinny tornadoes and not fully condensed. What that means, it's not a full funnel all the way to the ground, but you have your funnel cloud, but then it's the wind. It's not the cloud that's the tornado, it's the wind, right? And the wind that causes damage. So hail and wind, that's what we're looking at here with this, and a tornado possible, and this storm is just to the west. We're on here early enough to give you a big heads up. And just look at that. Where you see the returns of black on that reflectivity, I can give you another look. And that is showing some really big hail between, well, right on top of Thompson Station now, moving toward Franklin. Or is that moving more east now, I think? It is moving more east. Okay. So if this is more east, maybe along 840. That's what we'll be watching for here. I'm seeing a picture of 1-inch hail in Thompson Station. We've got another severe warning for another county popping up here. So this is going to be the active time. This is where the proverbial storms hit the fan, if you will. And on a day like today, when we have spin in the atmosphere, we've got to watch every little blip. So this may not look like much. It's a blip. But then the next scan, it may. And then this storm that's kind of tailing here in Franklin. So they all kind of have, even if it's just a strong thunderstorm and not even warned, the presentation on radar gives you an idea of the atmosphere today that these storms are working with. So the line back here from Jackson to Paris, that's the line that will come through. Damaging winds, hail, all possible. Our outlook for today did not change. This is our tornado threat here, and where you can see the flashing, that's where we have tornado or severe thunderstorm warnings going on. Here is our wind threat, and you see that really from Dixon to the east, including Murfreesboro, Smyrna, Laverne, entire Rutherford County, we have what would be considered a level 4 out of 5 for severe winds. So some things that we are looking at here, and the storm down in Mount Pleasant moving toward Columbia. And see that Justin has made it back here with us. Justin, anytime that we have storms moving northeast from Columbia or moving east from Franklin, those really are the ones that get our attention.
That's right. We kind of got our corridor figured out here, and we've become real familiar with these roads and these patterns. I'm going to be getting on 840 here pretty soon and be driving west and be coming to you live with the stream as this thing traverses the northern part of our county.
Sounds good. Just to give you a few updates, multi-size hail in Franklin up to golf ball size being reported right now. So very large hail there. They did reissue the warning for up to baseball size hail again. So storms kind of go through cycles, and maybe the hailstones come down in size, but storms grow, get more storm food, and then they can put down larger hail too. So
well, I'm sure you'll forgive me if I don't get close and personal on an intercept with this one then.
Yeah, I would. That's kind of why I mentioned it, because if you're out driving and hailstones that big, I mean, we're talking about busted windshields and all that kind of thing in a storm like that.
Yeah, I don't have a hail cage on my car like some of the professional chasers out in the plains do.
Yeah. So someone out in the Williamson County area reporting $quarter to $half size hail at their particular location, Thompson Station. So that's what all is headed east. This storm's still moving east, and we're actually in the rain here now. Laverne, Rock Springs, Rocky Fork, Smyrna. This is not what's causing problems. You may see thunder or hear thunder, see lightning, but it's back really from Franklin to Paytonsville, moving to the east, right along 840 is where we're looking at the hail. The wind, that's a little further south from Paytonsville to just east of Spring Hill.
Hey, Brian, since I'm driving, would you text my brother and just ask him if possible for him to try to cover the Mount Pleasant Columbia cell as I'm tracking this northern one?
I will indeed do that. I'm just going to send it in our group text, though, but that'll be fine.
We almost need like a push to talk or some way for us to communicate back and forth to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got some rain falling here on the south side of Smyrna as I'm approaching approaching Florence Road and Highway 840, and I got Anvil cloud over top of us. I heard those some pretty momentous that could be visible from the Murfreesboro area. I can't see any of that yet from my location.
Once the storm gets a bit closer, we can kind of give you some looks at a couple of the cameras that we can show you from emergency managers. I may need to turn that option on if I can remember how to do that. Well, let's see. Let's take a look from the Siegel area. The clouds are definitely rolling in there. Here is our view from Triune Amaville. And now Justin is giving us a view as he is driving. Kind of where are you, Justin?
I'm on Murfreesboro Road, southbound, headed towards almost up to the Florence Road intersection on the south side of Smyrna. And off in the distance, over right there, is that big supercell that's down northwest of, well, it was near Winchester. Where's it at now? Northwest of Chattanooga. Tracy City and Whitwell kind of areas. That's that supercell down in Grutley Logger.
Yeah.
You can see it way off in the distance. But yeah, that's the anvil off of our supercell directly overhead right now.
Okay, so we've got some eyes out there taking a look. Let's look from the Rutherford County Courthouse. So that is looking to the north and to the west. And now back to radar. So I wanted to kind of give us a perspective as this storm gets closer. Now you're getting rain, thunder, lightning. I'm hearing the rain in Justin's feed there, which you can see just right above my head here. This now has a destructive tag, by the way, for that baseball size hail. And I just, yeah.
He's trying to record for it if you got them.
I'm going to try to.
Unless you want a new car.
Well, be careful what insurance is going to pay for that, too, you know? Just the hail portion of this storm, going to track that out for us here. So Triune in about 8 minutes. So we'll hopefully have a view of that. Blackman, Amaville first, 15 minutes. Blackman 22, Murfreesboro in about a half an hour. Halls Hill, Reedyville in about less than an hour, about 50 minutes. And getting plenty of hail reports with this. So this definitely is verifying. So on the radar where you see the purples and the dark reds and even the lighter blues, and certainly seeing from downtown Franklin, I would say at least ping pong size hail. So
can you on the velocities?
Let's see here.
Okay.
Not as bad as it was looking a little early. Yeah. Let me look over here at the other radar. It may be a little easier to see. Yeah, nothing real tight, but still some pretty good winds there. I did.
Just again, weather radios are down. They are inoperable. Do not rely on your weather radio to get your warning today.
Very true. I don't know that I have mentioned that here. I know we've put out several posts about that, and unfortunately, not a great time to be doing an upgrade. But the National Weather Service is getting an upgrade to their systems, and that is why the warnings are. Let's see. That's why the system is down. I believe we're about to get. I think we're about to get a warning for Rutherford for this hail. So give me a moment as we break in on radio here as well to make sure we give the updates to everyone possible there. So just a quick moment.
I'll have those in you just a moment.
Okay. You're watching Rutherford weather coverage. Share this with others, family members, whatnot. You don't want to see my work computer, I'm sure. So let me just turn that off. I think that's that warning coming in. Yep. And this is going to set off your phones too, by the way. So just be ready for that. The reason for that, this has got a destructive tag. All right. Welcome in. You're listening on 1019, 100.5, WGNS, and WGNSradio.com. As our coverage of severe weather, we are now in a severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be for most of Rutherford County, and this probably just set off your phones because this is a severe thunderstorm warning that carries a destructive tag. What does that mean? That means that hail has been reported up to baseball size. Radar indicated 60-mile-per-hour winds. So this being warned for the hail here. Meteorologist Justin Bailey is here with us as well. That's a look at radar, and this is Justin as he is driving toward the storm area along 24 or 840.
840, Brian, 840.
Yeah, 840. All right. So we will keep a look at his camera right above. And if you're listening, of course, we've got you covered here on radio as well. So we've got this storm, and this is our storm that has our warning here. So we're definitely watching this. But there's also a storm that is tornado warned down coming up toward Columbia. So we're going to keep an eye on that one as well. So we've got a couple of storms that we're watching. The storm here that will be moving into Rutherford County here in just a few moments. First up will be Triune in Amaville. And that storm is riding up along 840. Hail up to 2 3/4 inches. And if you're thinking, that doesn't tell me much, that's about baseball size hail. We've had reports in Franklin of hail the size of ping pong balls, plenty of quarter size hail, which that's our severe criteria. But the reason we have this destructive warning is because the hail could be as big as baseballs. We've had plenty of lemon size hail, lime size hail, or hen egg size hail. And I mean, we're getting photo after photo after photo. See, we're going to keep the tornado warning. So that tornado warning keeping up down to the south. We are getting reports of a possible funnel cloud in Mount Pleasant on cameras. So definitely watching that. If you know where Sullivan Farms is in the Franklin area or Williamson County, bigger than golf balls. Ham radio operator in Murray County, big hail. Okay, so we tell you that to tell you that's what's coming. Okay, here's the county line into Triune now. Let's see if we can see anything from our camera in that vantage point. Not just yet. Dark clouds, but it's not quite there yet. It's a little closer to Amaville. Back to our radar view, where you can see Justin headed along 840 there as well. We're also on radio, so if you're trying to get home, 1019, 100.5, WGNS, WGNSradio.com. So Amaville to Blackman, the Whitehaven area, down Franklin Road, definitely in the rain right now, but it's this hail core right here that is our problem. Still in Williamson County, but near Spantown Road and 840, coming right along Highway 96, out of the Franklin area, and that's what we're looking for here. The reason your phone went off. Number one, this isn't your run of the mill severe thunderstorm warning. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that carries with it what is called a destructive tag. What does that mean? Well, destructive because hail the size of baseballs will do damage. We've got meteorologist Ray Miller joining us here, and we don't get baseball size hail around here very much, Ray.
No, fortunately we don't. Unfortunately, we have it now, and it's also unfortunately centered right over a couple of major highways. So I think we're going to get quite a few folks with some damaged windshields and vehicles here. This is right over Interstate 840, and will be moving right along Highway 96 as well. So this is a significant risk for hail damage. Baseball-sized hail indicated on radar. Most of the reports we've seen so far have been more around golf ball size. We've had a few reports of 2-inch and 2.5-inch diameter hail, a little bit closer to tennis ball size. That was around the Thompson Station area, and that's the same hail core that we're watching now, passing just northwest of College Grove. And it does look a little stronger now, so that potential for baseball-sized hailstones. Now, they're not all going to be baseball-sized. We're going to see an awful lot of golf ball-sized out of this, but one is enough if it hits the right spot. So, again, want to be very, very careful with this storm moving through. You definitely don't want to be out on the roads. Of course, we're getting into prime rush hour right now, unfortunately, but we're going to have a significant hailstorm moving into western and central portions of Rutherford County. And we're watching for any signs of rotation as well. We are under that tornado watch. We're looking for rotation with this. And the storm is rotating, but right now, not really a huge tornado risk. There's a little weak rotation in the lower levels. In the mid levels, it's rotating quite a bit more, and that's what's helping to produce this hail. You can think of it kind of like a big corkscrew conveyor belt that keeps those hailstones up in the air longer if the storm is rotating. So the hailstones are in the air longer; they're able to grow larger. So this storm is rotating in such a way that it is really becoming a very serious hail producer as it moves out of Williamson County into the western half of Rutherford County. We do have a tornado warning now, a new one just in for Maury County and northern Marshall County as well. That's for a potential tornado on a second storm just south of this one down around Columbia. But for Rutherford County, the Murfreesboro area, significant, potentially destructive hail headed your way over the next half hour.
All right, Ray, before you get away, I do want to make sure you mentioned the Columbia storm. Columbia always gets our attention. If storms are moving to the northeast, this could become a storm that is a problem here for us. So we definitely need to keep an eye on that storm. It will follow not the same path as the storm coming into Rutherford County now, but definitely bears watching. And there are portions of the county that aren't warned. That southern portion, just south of Eagleville, Christiana, out toward Bradyville. But this is a favored path. You remember last May 8th, this is a very similar path that storm took. So we've got to be watchful for both.
It's remarkably similar. The difference this time, though, is with this storm moving across the area first, the hail-producing storm, the storm further south may end up running into more stable air as it gets into the Rutherford County area. The concern I have is that the storm that's in Rutherford County does already have an area of circulation, again, around College Grove, and as it moves just a little bit further east, it's going to get away from the influence of that southern storm, and it may pick up in rotation as well. So, kind of a double threat here. We have the immediate tornado threat down around Columbia, but this storm moving into Rutherford County cannot at all at this point rule out that would strengthen a little bit in terms of rotation as it moves toward overall in Murfreesboro. Again, not worth a tornado warning yet. Just a concern that I have as I'm seeing where the storm is positioning itself relative to that one further south. Usually, if you have a storm off to the south, that will tend to rob the northern storm of some of its energy, some of its intensity. But with this one getting just a little further east now, that may be a little bit less of a problem. And just one more report just now in, I have a 3-inch diameter hail report now from just north of Thompson Station. So that confirms that baseball sized hail that the radar was suggesting. And again, folks, this is just parked directly in the worst possible place for hail, moving right over Interstate 840, right over Highway 96, right at rush hour. We're going to have some significant hail damage out of this, I'm afraid.
All right, Ray, we just got, and that's meteorologist Ray Miller taking a look at the storm, giving us some updates. And yeah, that storm did just, we just got that storm report, and that is significant hail. We're talking about big boy stuff here. So, Highway 96, Franklin Road, 840 as well. Now, we're seeing the rain pick up.
And did I get a 3-inch hail?
You did. You did. That
Wow.
was reported through the National Weather Service here. Yep. So,
I'm on Highway 96, headed back east towards Murfreesboro. And
okay.
decided if I wanted to find a safe place to park and see, want to dive south and keep myself in position for a tornado threat.
Okay. So that is a full look at where Justin is as he is taking a look at the storm, driving closer to the storm to give us a good idea. Here's what you can still see him if you're watching here in the box right above me, and definitely seeing the wind and rain pick up here. So outside of the storms are, well ahead of the storm from Murfreesboro, Regency Park, Roland Estates, even coming in toward Las Casas. You're seeing some rain. Just saw some lightning on our camera right there. Let's take a look in downtown Murfreesboro. So the skies to the upper left-hand corner of that, darkening there. This is from the studios of WGNS, and seeing the darkening clouds there. From the courthouse, looking more toward this storm, a look there as well. Really interested in this camera we have in the Triune Amilville area, and you can see the winds picking up. You can see CLCs, or crazy-looking clouds. That camera comes in and out on us just a little bit. So that's a tour of some of the cameras that we have. Back here to the radar, and it looks like Amilville, you're about to get in it, if not seeing some right now. But definitely some 3-inch hail. There's another report of 3-inch diameter hail. Scores of hail reports in the last hour, and still coming in. They do expect more of a wind threat with the main line as it enters into Middle Tennessee here as well. And just to pull out and give you a wide view, here is that line. Severe thunderstorm warnings all up and down the line from Clarksville to Paris to Jackson. These are the storms that are out ahead. Within this view, there's only one tornado warning, and that's with the storm down toward Columbia, which does look like it's got some hail in it. So heads up, southern Rutherford County, as this storm moves off to the north and east. It has a more of a northeast component, if I remember correctly. And yes, northeast at 40. So let's do a look here at our hail product, or not really hail product, but it kind of gives us an idea. This is where the radar tries to classify what is coming down, right? So we see maybe hail indications from Rocky Fork Creekside up just south of Smyrna. Some hail reports coming in there. This is what will enter Triune and Amilville. There's some hail right there. So a couple of different areas. Now let's take a look at another product here. The hail up towards Smyrna and Laverne, not as large as this hail that is coming up 840. So what we'll do here now is bring up a different radar. Just want to also make sure. Wish they would put the movement on the little tags there. Moving east at 45. And these storms move a little faster, a little slower. So